Hello, and welcome back to Semi-Adult, the podcast.
With Annie.
And V. And today we're going to be talking about the myth of having it all. So, what do we mean by this? So, I don't know.
First, I just want to address the elephant in the room because my quiet self and apparently the issues with making audios match. I will be eating the microphone today for your auditory pleasure, and I hope you enjoy.
This is the sacrifice
in case you're watching
that we make for the people to give good, crisp audio.
Right, like the disclaimer is really for the YouTube audience that's going to see this, because I'm sure to you listening, you're like, wow, she got louder. But to you seeing this, like this looks strange. So we know, we're aware, I'm doing it for you, the people, and we can move on. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Oh no, I accidentally put you full screen. I was like, hello. We are on FaceTime together because obviously I have to see my girl. I'm going to be looking at her. Sorry, camera. You're like just there to look at my side profile. She's not that cute, but like, let's pretend. So kind of like what we mean by the having it all myth. A great example of this is there was this TikTok trend that was going around called the you need to have 5 hobbies, or you need 5 hobbies is the hashtag. First of all, a ridiculously long hashtag, unnecessary. And also the premise of it was slightly whack. So if you go through, I can like click one. So the 5 hobbies that it said that you need is you need 1 to make you money, 1 to keep you creative, 1 to build your knowledge, 1 to evolve your mindset, and I think one of them was like 1 to keep you active, if I am wrong.
Like, is it just me, or is that just doing the most? Like, that's a lot of hobbies to have. Like, I know a lot of people that can't even tell you a single hobby they have, nevertheless 5 with purposes.
That's what I'm saying. Like 5 things, 5 hobbies. Like, I'm sorry, I barely have time to just exist having a full-time job and like trying my very best to do little side hustles. Like, girly is drowning. And I feel like there's always like those triangles that would exist. Like you would see them on Twitter, and it's like you have to pick 2, and it's either like I think like social life, academics or work, or like health, like sleep and working out and like eating well. And you can't have them all. Things. Like, especially if you're like, if you work a 9 to 5 or are a full-time student, or what is often the case when you're in college is that was honestly to me the craziest time of my life. The fact that I was working 2 jobs all through college while being a full-time student, girly did not sleep. And I was also focusing on like having a social life. It's like, if you do try to manage having it all, something gives, and what usually gives and what we usually sacrifice is our health, and whether that is your mental health or your physical health or both, because you are more than likely sacrificing some sleep to make that possible. And
oh yeah, for sure. And your mental sanity.
Oh, absolutely, because you're just on all day, and that does not feel good. Like, your brain needs time to reset, and you need time to just like sit in silence, which I don't think we do enough of. I know I don't do enough of that. I would definitely like to, but as like an extrovert, that is fearful to me. Like, sitting by myself in silence with my own thoughts, a true fear.
I like crave that. See, I'm the opposite. I'm an introvert, and to me, I'm like, nothing sounds better. Like, I love the sound of silence. Like, I love to be alone, and I can't explain it. It gives me like this joy, this just like, I can see, what is that song? Like, I don't even know, like that 80s song that they use in all the happy movies, like,
I was thinking of the song Perfect like, Day. That's like, that song's been in my head because we were watching we saw the Lizzie McGuire movie. I don't know if it's in that one, but I think it was in
but it's in every other movie of that era. It's probably
Freaky Friday. We watched Freaky Friday together. We were going through like a little throwback moment because Disney Plus was like would you like to relive Lindsay Lohan's peak existence? And we were like, yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sign me up.
I love how off track we can get. It's fine. We're here for this. It's just casual chats. No need to be on a strict agenda. That's boring. But it's really hard, like, to be able to manage, like, all of that. And when I think of the having it all, some of the things that are included in there are, you know, working a full-time job, having a side hustle or two, or however many, you know, people are expected to have, apparently 5. Working out, eating healthy, like making actual home-cooked meals, keeping up with family and friends, and finding time to do something educational. And then the last one would be like taking care of your mental health or self-care. And because that's all the things that, like, the idealistic life that we're sold is to be able to do all these different things. But it's just like absolutely unrealistic to be
at least like the way that the way that our lives are structured, at least here in like the US, like that is just an unattainable dream for most people. Like, if you are of middle working class, whatever you want to call it, if you have to work every day and you can't just like not go to work because you don't feel like it, then that's just not something that's realistic. You will burn yourself out to the core trying to achieve that, in my opinion. And I feel like it's almost like glorified to like spread yourself thin on that level and try to be that person that does it all and this and that. And that it, like, spreading yourself thin to the point of a mental breakdown should never be glorified. I feel like college really does that as well. They're really just like, how hard can you push yourself? Like, did you have a breakdown today? You didn't work hard enough. And that's like a whole other issue, but it starts there. And I feel like that sets the precedent for the rest of like your adult life, and people just expect you to like do this just like a crazy amount of shit in one day that I'm just like, whose happiness is this contributing to? Because this is stressing me out.
Oh, 1000%. It's like a competition of like who can get less sleep, who can, you know, pull the most all-nighters and manage to do the most things at the same time.
Who can sacrifice more of their social life for this other aspect of their life.
And your social life like might seem like something that you can like, that is like negotiable to give up for, you know, achieving your dreams. But that does tie into your mental health. Like,
oh, 100%. I feel like if there's one thing we can take from 2020 is the importance of a social life. Because it wasn't until you didn't have the option anymore to see people that people were like, oh, I need human interaction, or I will spiral into a deep hole of depression. And I feel like that's coming from someone that always says, like, I don't like people. I really like to, like, be alone. But even for introverts, like, it was a lot in 2020. And everyone, no matter how, I guess, introverted or quiet or to yourself you like to be, like, everyone needs to have human interaction, to have family relationships, to have friendships. And sacrificing that ultimately only affects you, and in a very, very negative way.
And affects your relationships because, I mean, some people are willing to put up with that. And, like, you know, shout out to those people who understand that sometimes you're just busy and, like, who don't take it personal when you don't answer the text all the time. Because especially, like, when you're grown, like, out of college, it's funny, I was talking about this earlier with someone. It's hard during this phase of our lives, like in your 20s, when everyone's kind of in a different phase of their life. Like some of your friends can be living at home, maybe working a part-time job or not working at all. Some of your friends can be working a full-time job. Other people have
Some
babies.
of our friends have babies.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And they got to work around their baby's schedule and stuff. And you just, being on those different pages is hard because you just don't, like, some people don't understand how busy you are, and that it's not personal. It's not like I am choosing to ignore you. It's just that, like, I'm working so hard all day long that when it comes to a time when I can check my phone and check messages, like, I don't have the mental or emotional capacity to give you a response. Like, I don't have it. And I feel like people underestimate the work that, like, just because it's through technology, like, being available to communicate with people takes on you. It takes a toll. And like they're like, oh, well, you can just shoot a quick text and tell me you're busy or something. That's still like the fact that you need all your friends to be available at all times. Like that is not a healthy relationship, because no one should be available all the time. That is toxic to yourself. Like you should be able to just like step away from technology sometimes, because that contributes to like our anxiety of like needing to be on our phones all the time because you're afraid you're gonna miss a message from someone. Versus
she
like
says that as I send a text message like as we're recording this.
Exactly, because you feel stressed because people will get pressed if you don't answer to them when they want a response. And I don't love that. But my friends, and I'm very happy to say that like most, if not all of my friends are like that. And they all, I mean, they have to be, because girly goes on blank mode sometimes, like either when I'm dealing with mental health or when I'm just busy and I can't answer people's texts or calls. My friends never take it personally, and that's why they're still my friends to this day, and why we've like been able to, you know, go through all these different journeys of our lives together, where like these flows where we've been really busy or we're not, is because we are understanding of each other's schedules and time, and know that it's not personal, and that regardless of the time or the distance, we love each other.
I wasn't snapping at you. I was trying to get Xander to wake up and stop snoring.
He's snoring?
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear, but I can, and I'm like, fuck, my background noise.
It's okay. He's cute. He makes it worth it.
He's all beamed up.
If you guys want to see a picture of Xander, Ani's cute dog, let us know in wherever social media that you follow us on. Let us know on Instagram, DM us, or comment on our latest post if you want to see our two dogs. And we will provide. We will provide what the people desire, you know?
I feel like between us, we like cover the full spectrum of dog lovers.
That's true. You got the bigger dog that has less like hair, and then I have the floofy tiny dog that's like, hello, I am baby.
And our dogs are precious. I mean, I may be biased, but I do think that they are the cutest dogs.
I am obsessed with both of them. You guys, when I was visiting Ani, we were just together. As you saw in our first episode, we were filming it together. It's so sad that we're not together anymore.
The peak of my existence.
That was so beautiful. But when I was there, Ani's dog, Xander, was snuggling with me like almost every night. It was so freaking cute. He's such a snuggle bug. Anyone who says that pit bulls are dangerous have clearly never met a pit bull that wasn't like trained to fight, which first of all is messed up. But if you have just met like a pit bull who's just like a family dog or just like a person's dog, oh my god, the cutest, most snuggly little dogs. And I'm saying that as a mother of a different breed of a dog. Like pit bulls just win. Angels. They're so freaking cute and cuddly.
But they snore.
That's just the truth. You just have to know that the snores are coming. And honestly, I think snores in dogs are really cute, because then you just know they're asleep. They can't pretend.
Yeah. Also, what hurts the most is when he's having a nightmare. Like, he really, like, be crying in his sleep, like, crying. I'm just like, what do you dream about? Like, you have it all. Like, what do you dream about? What are your bad dreams?
And you've had him since he was a baby. So I'm like, truly, like, what are you dreaming about, sir? The times I didn't let you snuggle?
Right? Like, he went from one loving home to another. Like, he has no abandonment issues. I don't know. I've talked about it with my boyfriend, Ben. And we have a theory that his bad dreams are, like, us, like, we're like far away from him and he's just trying to run to us and he can't, because whenever he's having a bad dream, his little paws are just like running in the air. I'm like, where are you going, sir? He's asleep.
What you running from? What an angel.
Clearly, I'm a crazy dog mom, but let us know if you want us to do an episode on pets.
We absolutely will.
I have a lot of tips I could give you.
She helped me actually because you worked as a vet tech for a lot of years, so Ani's basically like my live-in vet tech. Whenever I'm like, oh my god, like what is this? Like I literally sent her pictures of my dog's gum. I sent her pictures of my dog's poop. Like I was like, I was like, is this good? Is this healthy?
Is she well?
And she let me know. And that is such a peace of mind because first of all, like the vet is such a ripoff. Like, love them because they take care of my dog, but those prices, okay,
They're not right.
They're not
The price is
right.
not right.
The fact that I paid for like $1,000 plan for my dog, and still every time we go to the vet, it's like at least $100, and we have to take her every 2 weeks because she's a puppy. Well, anyways, we got way off topic there, but
Yeah.
we once again, disclaimer, those are the vibes. But basically, to summarize it, we don't think that having it all is possible, and it's actually pretty harmful to portray that you do have it all, especially when you know that you don't. And I think especially influencers are pretty guilty of this. And I think as someone with a platform and impact, you have a responsibility you don't have to share absolutely everything about your life. You know, you do have a right to privacy, but you have to be honest about like having it all. I think that that's very harmful, like showing that you do all these things and you're juggling. Like, it's okay to be transparent that you don't. Like, that doesn't harm anything about your image. It's just honest. And honestly, to me, I think that it's more relatable because I'm like, I too cannot have it all. Like, we're literally just like, I work my full-time job, I work on this podcast, and me and Ani are trying to work on our own little side hustles, and girly is drowning. And what usually ends up, you know, not being kept up with is my like family and friends, like being able to call my family and friends, as my father will very likely complain to me next time I call him. So I think that it's important that we're honest about those things. And I don't want anyone to ever think that I do have it all, because girly, I don't. And I think the more open we are about that conversation, the more comfortable people will be. And we can, you know, eradicate that standard. That standard is ridiculous to have all of those things on your plate.
I think I have a different perspective. I think that it's just a matter of redefining what it means to have it all. I think that the current definition of it is borderline toxic and can cause just like unnecessary stress in your life. Like, who needs another stressor? And I think that if you rephrase the term having it all to mean something more realistic and just something more attainable to you, it's just like how we were talking about, I think we touched on it in the last episode about the American dream and just like the dream job and all that stuff. It's just a matter of like rephrasing it and like, what does that mean to you? Like, not what was shoved down your throat in school, not what was shoved down your throat by your parents. Like, what does that mean to you? And redefining it to something that's attainable so that you can live a happier life and feel better about yourself and the things that you've accomplished. And I feel like by redefining it, it also helps you focus on the positive a little bit more. And that in turn, I personally feel that focusing on the positive changes your life, and because it changes your outlook on everything. And good vibes attract good vibes, and it's just like, you know, it's going to snowball one way or the other. Make it positive.
That is a really good perspective, and I like that better, actually. Just changing how, like, what it is. Like, right now, I think the having it all as it's currently defined is a myth and does not exist. Without some sort of sacrifice, and therefore you don't have it all. And I think that it would be better to just, as a society, as a people, let's come together and rephrase what that means and define it, because I think that will help us all. Like, even if you are doing it but struggling to do so, like, wouldn't it be great to lower the bar a bit there? Like, I think that we would all feel a bit more comfortable. But with that, we are going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for listening. As always, if you have any sort of topics that you would like us to cover, any questions that you have, you can email us at semiadultpodcast.
If you want that 10 episode.
You what?
If you want that pet episode.
Oh, if you want that pet episode, you can email us at semiadultpodcast@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Instagram or Twitter, where we are on both of them. It's semiadultpod or semiadult podcast. I don't remember. It's one of the two. If you search up semiadult pod, you will probably find us. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.